focus in the Andhra government's state budget for FY27. As part of the state's 3.32 lakh crore rupee state budget for the fiscal, Andhra Pradesh has placed a firm focus on water security, earmarking roughly 14,000 crore rupees for key irrigation projects as part of a broader push to complete and accelerate pending infrastructure. A significant share continues to go towards the Polavaram Project alongside other major schemes aimed at expanding irrigation coverage, especially in drought-prone regions like Rayalaseema. The emphasis here is clearly on capital expenditure, finishing assets rather than just maintaining them, signaling intent to boost farm productivity and rural stability. Parallelly, the state has also allocated around 4,000 crore rupees for the Jal Jeevan Mission to strengthen rural household tap water access. Together, the irrigation push and drinking water investments underline a strategy that links agricultural resilience with basic water security for households across the state. Shifting to news from the investment space now, US semiconductor equipment major KLA Corporation is betting big on Tamil Nadu. The company has signed an MOU with the state to invest 3,600 crore rupees over the next decade in a new R&D and innovation campus in Chennai. The project is expected to generate up to 4,000 high-skilled jobs and significantly expand the company's engineering and technology footprint in India. Now, this isn't just a fabrication plant, but a high-end research hub focused on advanced semiconductor processes, controls, AI-driven technologies, and next-gen computing solutions. Staying with more news from Tamil Nadu, the state government here has presented its investment report card, accounting for not just investment commitments, but MOU conversions since the DMK came back to power in 2021. The state's industries department claims to have converted 867 out of 1,179 MOUs in this period, accruing investments totaling 12.5 lakh crore rupees in the process and creating well over 36 lakh jobs. In an exclusive chat with me on South Central, Industries Minister TRB Raja told ET Now that one of Tamil Nadu's biggest achievements is to have shrunk investment timelines, adding that entire investment outlays made by auto majors like VinFast and Tata Motors passenger vehicles took place in just under 17 months. The minister also gave me the inside story on Ford's long-awaited comeback to India and Tamil Nadu's no-show at Davos this year. Listen in.
It was my chief minister himself. He's always been about credibility, right? His regime has always been about credibility. It's about hard work. In fact, when I finished today, I spoke about this. I said it's all about hard work and credibility. These are the things that we all work on. For us, as in charge of any portfolio, we always think that we always ensure that we put out the facts to the chief minister, and he always scrutinizes each and every one of us every single day. He has a dashboard. I don't know if you know. He has a dashboard on every department. He follows that up every single day, right? And when it comes to investments in Tamil Nadu, our chief minister has always been very, very particular about jobs that are being created here. It's not about the investment numbers. It's never been about the investment numbers. It was always about the jobs that are created and where these jobs come and for whom these jobs are being created for. The next question is because of his dream of the $1 trillion economy. Right?
Absolutely.
He has a task cut out. 2030, Dravida Model 2.0 will be all about going after that $1 trillion dream. He knows for a fact that only if all of this is enabled, right? Jobs for all the educated, jobs for women in rural areas, opening up new industrial corridors. So our chief minister has always been very, very clear about putting out facts, and we have been very clear about giving him facts every single day. And he had asked us to show numbers to the people of Tamil Nadu because they had given us a mandate for 5 years. including the 2 years which we had to fight through because of COVID and the mess because of the last regime. So in 21 and 22, we fought hard to pull Tamil Nadu back from the depths that it was in before. And then he started building on that. The first thing they come, when they, let's say this is a foreigner, right? This is a foreign investment. Now, once they come into India, they choose which state is the right, which ecosystem is right and ripe for them to come in, set up that shop and set up their investment, and where would it thrive is their first thought. They come scouting, they look up a place, they choose a state first, and then within the state they choose a location, and then they come in. Now, when they come in with an investment, let's say the investment is 1,000 crores, right, to start with. Now, they would come and meet the government, and they will say, I want to invest 1,000 crores in this factory, which is going to be built over a period of 3 years, or some say 5 years. Okay, certain cases also 10 years. Right? There's always a number. There's always a number of years over which this investment will come through. Okay. Now, let's say 1,000 in 3 years. Right? Now, once you do that, in Tamil Nadu, what happens differently in Tamil Nadu rather than in other states is that we tell them that, okay, now you want to put this kind of factory, and we know that this kind of job is going to be created in that factory. So we think that this is the right place for you. So now this 1,000 crore investment is being taken and distributed growth is made to happen, right? This is what our Chief Minister is doing. He's making sure distributed growth happens for his $1 trillion economy dream, right? And then they go there. Let's say they decide to go to Thoothukudi. Now, here, they tell you that 1,000 crores over 3 years will be invested. No investment happens on day zero itself, day one itself, right? They won't come, they have to buy land. They have to apply for clearances. They have to pay environmental costs. If you're going for a corporate environmental responsibility, and they have to maybe set aside money to plant trees somewhere if there is a environmental impact somewhere, right? So all of this needs to go in. Now this time is what we shrink in Tamil Nadu. This is why you see, because of the speed of governance, because of the ease of doing governance in Tamil Nadu, this time is being shrunk to about 16 months, 17 months. Look at how fast we got VinFast, right? Now VinFast happened under 17 months. Now Tata JLR in 16 months. 631 MOUs signed, and we have a conversion rate today of 83%. 83% on the global investors meet alone. Now that date is crucial. When was that? It was January of 2024. We are in Feb. Let's say we are in Jan of 26. Just 10 days. So under 2 years, 83% has started to convert.
Let's talk about some of these investments to begin with, Mr. Raja. I think the one that's got a lot of people talking is Sarvam AI's sovereign AI park, 10,000 crore rupee investment. Help me break this down, if you will. What is it all about? And add context to a sovereign AI park, really. What does the government intend to do, and how will it help?
See, everything is anchored on social justice and democracy here in the Dravidian model government, right? And in Tamil Nadu, we very strongly believe that AI needs to be a bit tethered, at least in the initial stages, and we'll definitely want to democratize it. Right? We'll definitely want to bring in the social justice angle on it, access to everybody, right? Equal access to all of them, all of the capabilities of AI for all of them in Tamil Nadu. So, and also when you take data and put it into crunch it via AI, you really want to hold that data within yourself. That data, Jude, is going to be phenomenally valuable, right? And we're going to learn so much from the data. I know the Prime Minister's office is also extremely interested in this data for national interest, of course. And they're also looking at the value that data itself creates in India, right? So we in Tamil Nadu also completely agree, this needs to be safeguarded, right? This needs to be protected. Sovereignty of data is key for any country now. Every country is talking about it. Now, Sarvam, the story has just started. He's just a beautiful man. It's just started now. We're going to see bigger investment, bigger announcements coming very, very soon from Sarvam. Hopefully, they're going at breakneck speed. Every single day they're dropping a new bill, and it's everybody's going bonkers. They're thinking, what is happening with these guys? Then they're turning heads big time world over. And the government of Tamil Nadu is fully committed to backing them in more ways than we have already told you. We're going to think of more ways to connect with them and more ways to utilize the expertise of Sarvam AI. And you will see some really good announcements coming through during the AI Summit also, hopefully.
But another big investment that I think has not just grabbed headlines, but also captured imagination right here in Chennai and Tamil Nadu is Ford's big comeback. Might I add, it has also been a landmark of sorts in the 2.5 years that you've spent as Industries Minister. A company that decided to exit the India business, exit the factory that they had here in Maramale Nagar, a legacy plant, so to speak, but then being convinced and wrangled back in, even if it's to just build powertrains for the export market. Now that we're sitting down and having this conversation long after that has passed and you've exceeded those investment targets, tell me the story of how it happened.
Oh, that came straight out of the heart of my chief minister. He was very, very keen because Ford, he knew it was one of the original large investments that came through to Tamil Nadu, and he was very, very interested, and he saw that the space itself was being was wasted, just lying idle there, and he saw how finding new spaces in Tamil Nadu was also becoming a problem. So we wanted to make sure that no stones are left unturned to try and see if we could talk to them and convince them that this is the right time to come back into India, and of course Tamil Nadu is the best place to be in.
The fact that this was also taking place at the time of the Trump tariffs, which also led to a fair bit of miscommunication and confusion over whether that comeback would actually happen, with Ford first saying they hadn't quite made up their mind yet, only to then reverse their stance and said it was a go. Speaking of the Trump tariffs itself, India has just arrived at a proposed trade deal with the US. There's been a lot of discourse on it from both the Indian and the American sides. The Tirupur Exporters Association, heavily impacted by the deal, rejoicing for a bit when some framework towards the deal was achieved, only to have some of their joy perhaps short-lived when the US-Bangladesh deal was struck, which said that incentivized buying of US cotton would then mean Bangladeshi finished goods get a zero-duty pathway into the US. Has it been a state of confusion, misinformation, and just hard to figure out and understand with regard to the deal itself? And has that caused our industries some stress in the last couple of weeks?
What happened with the tariffs? With the tariffs, the Tamil Nadu government has been absolutely mature in its stand. My chief minister has always said tariffs are these issues are between two countries, our country and a foreign country, and we should completely back the Prime Minister's office on this, right? And I have been very vociferous, and I strongly believe that on these tariff wars, all of us must stay united for the national security itself, and of course in the interest of our farmers and even people like this, the fishermen who are being affected because of the seafood export tariffs, right?
Right.
So it's a very, very tricky time to hold diplomatic talks, and I'm hoping something better will come out after hearing all of this now from one side of the story, from one side, from the other side itself, and not much from much clarity here in India. I would definitely love to hear more positive stories coming in from Delhi, and I'm hoping there's nothing much. There's no impact on for the farmers here.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that their interest is completely saved. I'm also hoping that the textile story that we are hearing about cotton being, if cotton is imported and from then, if yarn is produced in Bangladesh, and if it's If it becomes a finished product, then it is 0%. Now I'm also hoping our textiles clusters can also take the same route, but what sort of impact that puts on our textile industry is needs a lot of thought. So I'm being very cautious here because I don't want to make this political. I'm very, very plain about this. I do not want to make tariffs political. I don't think anybody in India should make tariffs political. We are enforcing full belief, trust on the government of India to do the right thing for our farmers and for our manufacturers and for our exporters. But that said, US is the biggest market in the world. Who are we kidding? We can't we can't wish away the US. The US needs to be our very strong partner, and we have to continue our exports to the US. So I'm hoping more clarity will come in the near future. But as of now, we're trying to do our best for the textile industry, for the seafood industry also. We're trying to help them with a bit of a push here, and we might have a good announcement coming through soon. For the textile industry, we're also going up the value chain. We're trying to go into technical textiles. So we brought in a unit called RGE from Indonesia. They're based out of Singapore though, and they're putting up a large unit here for viscose, right? For natural, it's a very environmentally friendly viscose. So that's going to create a large value chain in the technical textiles.
But Mr. Raja, just looking at the time and place where we are at, the Davos summit, the World Economic Forum, was held barely a few weeks ago, and Tamil Nadu was perhaps the only South Indian state conspicuous by its absence. I understand the assembly had just begun its session, so to speak, which perhaps prompted you to give the summit a skip, but a delegation from the state was also not present there. But I sometimes wonder, have you come to a place right now where you're perhaps questioning the relevance of the summit to begin with? And is that why it perhaps wasn't as much of a priority to you this year as it was in years past?
This has been a talk of late that Davos is becoming less relevant, but I wouldn't say that. That will be belittling other states that have gone there. I don't think they're doing their best to go and pitch. See, Davos has never been about fetching investments. It was never that. Right? Some states are doing it. I see it borderline comical that they go do MOUs there. I don't think Chandrababu Naidu Garu also does that. He doesn't sign MOUs because he's the original Davos guy. You know that, right? So he's the one who actually started the Davos trip for India. We're all thankful to him for that. And I don't know if he signed MOUs this time, but usually he doesn't sign because Davos is just a place to start a conversation, right? I mean, I basically see Davos as the place to start a conversation and not as a place to do MOUs, right? But this time around it was the assembly, so I couldn't go there.
If the DMK does win in 2026, which I'm sure you would agree it is going to win, would you like to come back?
The DMK is coming back.
As Industries Minister.
See, I'm more worried about doing what is right for my constituency right now. I'm thinking more about getting more jobs into my constituency, getting more growth into my constituency, and that is all I'm thinking about in the capacity as an MLA. So any responsibility, that's how my chief minister calls it. He doesn't call it he calls it purpu. That's what my late leader Kalengar told him. So he calls it responsibility is given by the chief minister is good enough for us. There are phenomenally talented people all across DMK, and so many of them can do the same job that I'm doing. So I'm happy that he's given me this chance now, and I'm hoping that my chief minister is happy with my performance.
That's rather modest of you to say, so I have to then ask you, what do you think you would like your legacy to be in the last 2.5 years that you've spent as Industries Minister? Looking back, what do you think your fondest legacy would be in the term that you've spent?
I think it's about bringing credibility to the job, right? Credibility, and that's my statement again. Credibility is all that matters, end of the day.
On to political action next. Congress veteran money